कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
संरोहित्वा
संरोहित्वा
भवभावनः हरिः संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम् संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः
सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो
निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो
युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः
युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम् संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो
युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः
सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो
निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो
युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः
युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः। माताजी
सूत उवाच कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः
शयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो
युधिष्ठिरं निजराज्य ईश्वरो
प्रीतमना बभूवः
युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः। Suta Uvacha. Suta Goswami replied, Vamsham, dynasty, Kuru of King Kuru, Vamshadavagni, a forest fire set by the bamboos, Nirhritam, exhausted, Samrohayitva, seedling of the dynasty, Bhavabhavanaha, the maintainer of creation, Harihi, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Niveshayitva, having re-established Nijarajye in his own kingdom, Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord, Yudhishtiram, unto Maharaj Yudhishthira, Pritamana, pleased in his mind, Babuvaha, became. Translation of purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charar Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sutta Goswami said, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthira in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Kindly repeat the translation. Sutta Goswami said, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthira in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This world is compared to a forest fire caused by the friction of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically, for bamboo friction occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord it over the material nature interacts. You see this word? The wrath of those who want to lord it over the material nature interacts. And the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Such fire, what is this unwanted population? Such fires or wars take place in human society by the dealings among the population, and the Lord has nothing to do with them. But because He wants to maintain the creation, He desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self-realization, which enables the living beings to enter into the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back home, back to God, back to Him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pangs. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and one who does not come to his senses and go back to Godhead suffers in the material world. The pangs are inflicted by the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord therefore wants his bona fide representative to rule the world. Lord Sri Krishna descended to establish this sort of regime and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with his plan. Those who have nothing to do with his plan, he is unwanted population. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord so that undesirable persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under his devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhishthira was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Gopagnaantimirandasya jnananjana-shalakaya चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमाय ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देव्ये गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktaranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So as I was saying in the last few sessions, that these are very interesting verses of Srimad Bhagavatam summarizing the hierarchy of intelligence or why the world has been created as such by the Lord and how, different people, different living entities having different types of intelligences, how they are supposed to be structured. Okay. In fact, the next verse, which we are going to discuss in the next session, is one of my very favorite verses. Okay. Especially the purport was so good. Because we should understand the context is, if you see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first Prabhupada gives the introduction, in the introduction of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he talks about, sorry, not introduction of Bhagavatam, preface of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he talks about spiritual communism. He talks about spiritual communism there, right? So now those aspects, Prabhupada nicely brings about in these verses. Now, if you see in this particular verse, first words which are used, the words which are repeated is the Vamsha. Okay. There are two Vamshas. Okay. One is the Vamsha, which is the dynasty. Another Vamsha is the bamboo. Prabhupada uses the word bamboo, not bamboo. He pronounces it as bamboo. Okay. So both bamboo and also the dynasty, okay, just keeps on growing. Okay. So that like the way if you see in the Kuru dynasty, they had so many sons, children, and all of those things and that. Similarly, in the life of a Grihastha, you'll have a lot of children, relatives, and all of those things. It keeps on increasing. Bamboo also just increases like anything. It's how bamboo grows. Even if you cut the bamboo also, it will keep growing again unless you remove it with the roots, right? And bamboo also grows extensively. Okay. So when this bamboo also grows extensively, at the friction of an air, okay, at appropriate circumstances, bamboo's friction happens and fire emanates and forest fire gets created, okay, and it causes huge damage. So among the dynasty also, as happened in the Kuru Vamsha, okay, by the wrath of people who wanted to lord over the mineral nature, independent of Lord's purpose, Lord's view, Lord's plan. They all came together, and their wrath has caused such a huge, you know, annihilation of humanity, right? Even the Second World War does not compare to the kind of loss of human life that happened in the Kurukshetra war. In the battle of in the World War, I think it's not more than a crore. Okay, a crore or two. Okay, I don't remember right away. But sometime back I did that research. But whereas the the war which happened in the Kurukshetra had more than 64 crore people passed away, humans and other living entities. What are the horses and elephants and all of those 64 crore, mind-boggling, mind-boggling, right? Sorry. So such a thing is the cause of, the cause is happened because of lack of understanding of who we are, what is our purpose, where we are, bound to go. What is the role of the citizens? What is the role of the government? What is the role of the resources at large? Huh? How the resources at large has to be utilized. These are all the themes, which modern scientists and philosophers and various socialists and political theorists have tried to attempt in various ways. But fundamentally, while they try to attempt to solve different causes and come out with the different goals and all of those things and all, they have misunderstood who they are, first and fundamentally. Fundamentally, we have nothing to do with this material world. Like the way Lord also has nothing to do with this material world, we also have nothing to do with this material world. What we have to do with this material world? Actually, nothing. Because this world belongs to. And the way he has created Swabhaviki Gnana Balakriyaha. Everything happens automatically. Okay. Whether you put a lot of effort to achieve a result or don't put a lot of effort to achieve the result anyway will be coming to you. We are not talking it from the fatalistic point of view because you, as a living entity, is a spirit spark. A spiritual spark has nothing to do with this material Jadavastu. This is a Jadavastu. The Jadavastu has no consciousness, but whereas the spirit soul has the consciousness. Since the spirit soul has consciousness and it is only observing, only when it is observing, it is getting affected by the movements in the material nature. So when it is not observing the movements of the material nature, it is no longer getting affected. Okay, so that is one of the primary construct. Another important primary construct is even the Lord has nothing to do with this world. Lord is Atma Rama. Means what? He is self-satisfied. He is satisfied within himself. Since Lord is satisfied within himself and he has nothing to do with this world, the way he has created this world also is that so that it does not require his involvement. He has already put forward two important goals for this world. What are the two important goals of this world? What are the two important goals of this world?
He wants to go back.
Yes, the living entities have got to go back to the spiritual world. We have to go back to him. That is a real place for the living entities to be satisfied. That is one important goal. What is another goal?
Establish Dharma.
That is only for first one is nothing but the establishment of dharma, right?
Because he said no that he was pleased when
Correct.
after installing the district.
Correct. Correct. So dharma also evolves around these two important principles. What is the first one and what is the second one? Huh? Okay. Okay. So while we are living, we have to align with the Krishna's plan. That is also important thing. That is also aligning with the first. So what are the two plans of the Lord? There is one plan which we all talked about, which we generally know as sitting in the Bhagavatam class. That is the plan which we all be talking about. But what there is also another second plan of the Lord is there, right?
Self-realization?
Sorry?
Self-realization?
But is a natural corollary of the first plan itself, that we have to go back to the Lord.
Then fulfilling of the desires.
Yes. What desires? Lawful or unlawful desires of the living entity, whatever the living entity has desired, the Lord has to give a place for the living entity to satisfy its desires. Right? Now comes the dharma. First dharma is okay about dealing with how to go back to Godhead. Another dharma is what? How to allow the living entities to satisfy the desires without conflicting with others. Right? If they are conflicting with others, then they have to equalize their karmas. Right? They have to suffer their karmas or equalize their karmas, whatever. Right? So there are two important constructs for the Lord to create this particular universe. One is going back to Godhead, self-realization. Second thing is those who are not ready, the living entities can still be there in the living entity in this world, living and trying to satisfy their desires. Okay. So now what happened at the time of the Kurukshetra? So there was this Duryodhana and party who were not interested with the Lord's plan. What was the Lord's plan? Lord had come with a purpose, right? Lord had come with a purpose to establish both things, both on at the material plane and at the spiritual plane. At the material plane, okay, Duryodhana does not have a right to rule this world. Okay, neither is he qualified spiritually. Okay, and Yudhishthira was both rightfully having the right as per the material laws, and also spiritually he is also a person who is highly elevated person. And hence, for both the purposes, he is the right person. Yudhishthira is the right person. But whereas Duryodhana, he was neither materially fit nor spiritually fit. Owing to these reasons, he is not fit. and hence he has to be eliminated. Okay, so given the fact that now, now we are not even talking about, Yudhishthira has ruled. Okay, Lord was just established, just happy by establishing Yudhishthira. Okay, so that was the decision of Lord, because seeing the consciousness of the person. Because the moment a person's consciousness is ready, okay, uh, automatically the person will act as per that consciousness. That's most important here. Okay, what is the most most important root cause? Root cause is the consciousness. If the consciousness is elevated, okay, and the person is situated in that elevated consciousness, okay, sometimes you elevate the consciousness and again you remove downgrade it by your lack of attention to it, right? If a person is elevated in their consciousness and also situated in that consciousness, naturally the Lord is pleased, because the person will ensure that he would rule or he would do his duties as per the prescription, as per his guna and karma. Okay. So that's why the Lord was pleased. Actually, the Lord has nothing to do with this world, right? We also have nothing to do with this world. But how come Lord has become pleased just because Yudhishthira, has become the king? Huh? Okay, just elaborate more on that little bit. Because he's devotee of the Lord, that's why he's happy, right?
He can practice and also establish principles of dharma in the society.
Correct.
Yeah,
So I'll just finish what Mataji has told, because I should not forget that. Okay. There is always a personal aspect of Lord also in all of these things. Lord knows that his entire creation he is only maintaining. Okay. But still he wants his devotee to be recognized as a person doing that particular work of maintaining, good maintenance and all of those things and that. So Lord always wants to give credit to his devotees. That is a personal aspect of the Lord. So now comes the other aspect, yes, as rightly said, that when Lord sees that there a person with the right consciousness is actually there to rule the world and all of those things, automatically he knows that his plan, his wishes, everything will be fulfilled by the person. Okay. See, even in the case of devotees, what exactly happens? What actually happens is why we are not able to, fulfill the Lord's wishes always. What comes in between? Our desires, our attachments, our vices, right? These are the things which comes in front of us. Then how do I deal with it? What do you mean by that?
practicing devotion service.
That is in devotion service. Yes, these are all right things only. Let's go further, more, finer into this, so that we'll appreciate the conclusion of the Gita. Sorry? Correct. Yes, we have to do the activities. Everything is right. I just gave an important clue that what is the conclusion of the Gita? Surrender, surrender, right? Oh Lord, I'm unable to handle myself. Okay, I'm not unable to handle my vices. I'm unable to handle my pride, a lack of humility, and these kind of things are troubling me. And you have put me into this situation of ruling this world. But how can I rule this world? Huh? So, we have to try to, there is something called as, in the study of history, okay? The concept is um, historical contextualism. Means what? You have to go to the particular context of the person and see from his shoes. Okay? You see the situation of Yudhishthira, right? He never wanted to have this battle. He's fine even if he doesn't, even if they give them some 5 villages also, it's fine with him. He was so detached, right? But still, Lord had wished to, do such a big thing. Okay, because Lord wanted to do this, then they fought this battle, and they after finishing the battle, now suddenly he is to now go and sit on the throne, and he doesn't want to sit on the throne, right? Because he was feeling very, very unqualified, and that is a way of actually maintaining our status as a devotee with right consciousness. Okay, when I was hearing this lecture today, that 1.10 point lecture, Prabhupada has given a lecture. Now, Prabhupada was saying that, you see, how Lord is a creator and maintainer of everything. Within 5, 6 years, so many hundreds of temples, I mean, so many temples we have opened it. And they are all saying that Bhaktivedanta Swami has done wonder. I know I have not done any wonder. Okay. I just did what, his guru told or whatever. Like that, right? So, this is what actually, this is not Prabhupada is not telling Prabhu, simply Prabhupada is telling like that. The moment you think like that, you're not actually understanding the consciousness based on which Prabhupada has said this statement. Hmm? Actually, the devotee truly sees on day-to-day basis how he is actually not the doer, and actually how Lord is the one who is creating everything in this world. How Lord is the actual movers and shakers of this world. We are not the movers and shakers. Okay, we don't do anything. Hmm? And that it's a natural statements the devotee will say like that, because the devotee is seeing the world and acting in the world like that way. So with this very important context, we will go through the next verse. Okay, I'll try to directly move on to the translation. Okay, next verse. Okay, I'll read the verse. You should read the verse. Nishamya Bhishmoktam अथ अच्युतोक्तं प्रवृत्तविज्ञानविदूतविभ्रमः सशासगाम् इन्द्र इव जिताश्रयः परिद्युपात्पान्ताम् अनुजानुवर्तितः. Translation. Maharaj Yudhishthira, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Deva and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge, because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus, he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Okay, so now Yudhishthira got the teachings from Bhishma Deva how to rule the world. And he is also guided by Achyuta, an infallible Lord. Why the word used is, again we should also understand why they did not use Krishnoktam. It is Achyutoktam. Because when we with the way this material world is created, it's very, very complex. Many complex circumstances will come in front of us, which our brain cannot handle. Right? So then, if you are dependent on the infallible Achyuta, Achyuta will not fall down to the material existence just because of a complex material thing has come in front of him. Right? How is Krishna? Krishna is always Achyuta. Right? When Aghasura came, when all the boys entered, okay, Krishna did not think so much how to deal with the python, how to kill the python. Okay, he just went into the Aghasura right when the neck was about to begin or whatever. Suddenly expanded himself. Over. He killed. Right? When the KC demon also came, what did he do? Huh? As if Krishna was already taught as to how to, harness a horse. To harness a horse, you have to control the mouth. Right? Krishna was not taught, right? Because he is Swabhavaki. Everything is natural for him. How to maintain this world, how to deal with this world, everything is natural to him. He is Achyuta. So he immediately put his hand into the horse's mouth, and the horse felt like one big iron rod, hot iron rod had entered in. So then the Keshi demon died. Right? So each of these, pastimes can be, analyzed from various perspectives. Hmm? Just try to open. Hmm? Each of the pastimes can be analyzed from various perspectives. So now you see, the Lord is infallible either as a child. When Putana came to poison him, he did not go separate yogic exercises, meditation, okay, become Paramatma. No, he is not become Paramatma, he is always Paramatma. Okay. The Mayavadis think that you are Atma and you have to become Paramatma. Mayavadis think you are Atma and you have to become Paramatma. What become Paramatma? Krishna did not do any exercises, did not do any neti neti things. Right from childhood, right from as a child, okay, he is Bhagavan Krishna. Huh? So actually, Mayavadi ideas are so much so unfortunate there. Hmm? So thus, now Yudhishthira had, see now this is a very interesting thing, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge. What did Yudhishthira do? He has ruled this material world. Ruling this material world, earth, dealing with political affairs, dealing with all, somebody will come, oh Raja, I have this problem. Huh? He engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge. How that is perfect knowledge? How that is matters of perfect knowledge?
Placing Krishna in the center of all judgments, decisions that he's making.
Okay, let's elaborate further on that. What do you mean by that?
Perfect knowledge, absolute knowledge.
Correct. Fine.
So spiritual matters he engaged in because the kingdom anyway will run it, that is his.
Okay, so Yudhishthira let it go on auto mode. Huh? I am not the doer.
He ruled it based on instructions from Bhishma Deva and Krishna.
He ruled it based on the directions received from Bhishma Deva and Krishna, right? So thus engaged himself. So what he was doing, that is the nature of a Jivan Mukta person of this world. What does a Jivan Mukta of this world do? How does he live? He sees that every energy of this world is having a connection with the Lord. And how to connect that particular energy in the Lord's perspective is what? Is the curiosity factor of a pure devotee. Now, what is the curiosity factor of a pure devotee? The pure devotee is also curious, right? The pure devotee is also very, very curious. What does he do? The pure devotee always try to see how to connect everything in this world. What are the everything? There are two things are there. One is living energy, another is tatastha, one is another is jadavastu, right? So he sees how to connect everything with the Lord. Now there is one living entity which has come in front of Yudhishthira Maharaj asking for some solution or for some judgment. He will not just see only from the material point of view. He will also give judgment from the spiritual point of view. Both things he will see how to balance and give a proper judgment so that the living entity also advances in Krishna consciousness. He will also see how the entire material energy can be managed so that the living entity who are ready can go back to Godhead. Those who are not ready can enjoy the world without disturbing others. Okay, so in that way he was engaging himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings are eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers. Now comes the interesting purport. Okay, let's see the purport. The modern English law of primogeniture or the law of inheritance by the firstborn was also prevalent in those days when Maharaj Yudhishthira ruled the earth and seas. In those days, the king of Hastinapura, now part of New Delhi, was the emperor of the world, including the seas, up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira's younger brothers were acting as his ministers and commanders of state, and there was full cooperation between the perfectly religious brothers of the king. Maharaj Yudhishthira was the ideal king or representative of Lord Sri Krishna to rule over the kingdom of earth and was comparable to King Indra, the representative ruler of the heavenly planets. The demigods like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna, and Vayu are representative kings of different planets of the universe. And similarly, Maharaj Yudhishthira was also one of them, ruling over the kingdom of earth. Maharaj Yudhishthira was not a typical unenlightened political leader of modern democracy. Maharaj Yudhishthira was instructed by Bhishma Deva and the infallible Lord also, and therefore he had full knowledge of everything in perfection. So now Maharaj Yudhishthira and his brothers nicely cooperated and ruled the entire world, just like the way Indra Chandra ruled different planets. Maharaj Yudhishthira also nicely ruled, and he's not a typical autocratic rule or typical, modern democratic unenlightened rule. He's neither of those extremes. He's an autocrat, no doubt. He's an autocrat, but an autocrat who was trained, an autocrat who had so much of humility at his command. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was instructed by Bhishma Deva and the infallible Lord also, and therefore he had full knowledge of everything in perfection. Actually, having knowledge is different, having full knowledge is different, and having full knowledge in perfection is different. You may have full knowledge with you, but if you are having attachment, that's the problem with Dhritarashtra. They had lot of knowledge. They have lot of awareness. All the rishis came and told, but attachment is there, and hence they were not perfect. So to become perfect and to be really this thing, why we need to have humility? Humility is contrary to attachment. Correct? When you are humble, you doubt yourself. Okay? You doubt yourself whether you are doing right or wrong, and always you will be in the mood of receiving knowledge. So if a person is very arrogant, okay, even they're not fit even materially also. Even Einstein says, right, that he sees himself that he's in the shores of the ocean of knowledge, material knowledge. There's so much more to be explored, right? So how you will get full knowledge, how you get knowledge, and all of those things is humility is the basis. Actually, if you see, there are 20 items of knowledge in the chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 8 to verse 12. What is the first sentence? Amanitvam madambitvam. Correct? The first 20 line items, what are the first 2 line items? Amanitvam madambitvam shantirajyavam evacha. Amanitvam madambitvam ahimsa kshantirajyavam acharyopasanam shocham stairyam atma vinigraha. So there are 20 items of knowledge are there. So how do we get the knowledge? Amanitvam and adambitvam. First word is amanitvam, is humility. Then comes adambitvam, pridelessness. Both are different. Both are different. We have to study how both are different. We have to study. This entire, it's a big purport. I cannot cover this purport here. That's not the agenda. Okay, please read. So next. The modern elected executive head of a state is just like a puppet because he has no kingly power. That's another problem. Modern executive head, why he's a puppet? We discussed last week in our session. In democracy, to work, what are the 4 pillars of democracy?
Judiciary, media.
Judiciary, media, executive, and the political class. That is nothing but elected legislative, right? So first of all, even in if I assume democracy is perfectly working, he's still not a absolute ruler, because there are 4 things which are balance of powers is happening in a state, right? So even if he is enlightened like Maharaj Yudhishthira, he cannot do anything out of his own goodwill due to his constitutional position. Okay, assume a pure devotee has become a democratic ruler. Still he has to struggle. Okay, he is not absolute ruler. Therefore, there are so many states over the earth quarreling because of what? This is very important statement which Prabhupada has put.
Green.
Huh?
From one's Greenland.
Trump wants Greenland. Huh? That is selfish motive. What are the ideological differences? Huh? Left wing and far left and far right. Huh? Everybody is equal. Huh? Everybody is equal. No differences between sexes. No difference between colors. No difference between somebody is a tall person or a short person. Short person also supposed to throw the ball in the baseball. No, not baseball. That's the basketball. Right? Ideological differences or selfish, far left to far right. But a king like Maharaj Yudhishthira had no ideology of his own. What is important thing? An autocratic ruler like Maharaj Yudhishthira, who had all the material prowesses, they proved that they can battle it out with the entire world. Right? All the five brothers only had lived, right? How many people lived out of the after the battle of Kurukshetra? Countable people only among the Kshatriyas. Five Pandavas, Yuyudhana, Kripacharya,
Tatiki.
okay, Dhritarashtra, the blind Kshatriya. Few, that's all, could survive. And they proved it. And they proved it. Materially, they proved that they are very, very superior. Okay? But he had but to follow the instructions of the infallible Lord and Lord's representative, an authorized agent like Bhishma Deva. Even though he had such a power, materially he has proven himself. Because he had that kind of lot of humility at his command, okay, he wanted to follow the instructions of the Lord as an obligation. Prabhupada did not say he wished to follow. Prabhupada did not use the word he wished to follow the instructions of the infallible Lord. No, he felt obligatory. He had but to follow the instructions of the infallible Lord and Lord's representative, an authorized agent like Bhishma Deva. It is instructed in the Shastras that one should follow the great authorities and the infallible Lord without any personal motive or manufactured ideology. So, the word Shastra means Shasdhatu. Shasdhatu becomes from what? It is compulsorily one has to do that, right? It is instructed in the Shastras that one should follow the great authorities and the infallible Lord without any personal motive or manufactured ideology. So if you look at it, each of the ideologies in a morning, because now we have a lot of technology, we can easily make comparative tables. I compared around 7 ideologies today in the morning. Okay, communism, capitalism, nihilism, hedonism, hedonism, okay, and existentialism, humanism, and there's one more thing I forgot, socialism. Okay, 7 different ideologies I compared with, the Shastric perspective. Okay, it is so nice to know that, the Lord has created the best ideology. The Acharyas are giving us the best ideology. That ideology which works for everybody. What was the cause of communalism? Communism? Not communalism. Communism. What is the cause of communism? Disparity of wealth. Okay, economic disparity. And disparity in the opportunities. Those who are rich and powerful have more opportunities. to, naturally conquer the knowledge, naturally conquer the resources, and they hold. Okay. Now, so what you have to do? Huh? All the proletariat means all the commoners come together. We will fight and demolish all the stratas in the society. There will be no more distinction between the rich and the poor. No difference between haves and have-nots of the knowledge, haves and have-nots of the resources. Everything, let's make it equal. Let's destroy the stratas in this world. Hmm? To destroy the stratas in the world, what they did? They massacred. They massacred people who are wealthy, who are rich, who are so intelligent and controlling the world through business, who are very intelligent and apparently not liking with their ideology, but they're scientists. They are also killed. Stalin was so brutal. It is said that the Russians who lost in Second World War are lesser than the Russians who were killed by Stalin. Unimaginable. Okay. Yeah. So to that great extent, they went to neutralize these distinctions in the society. But were they able to do? They were not able to do. Because each human is different. Each human is possessing different, brain substance. Okay. How unique we are? Today our Aadhaar is based on not our this thing, but our thumb impression, our iris scan. Okay. Each of us are created by Mother Nature differently. Every second, there are some, some 50, 100 babies are born. All 50, 100 babies are having different identifiable identity called body. And these communists are trying to make it equal. Failed. Okay. Then came capitalists. Okay. No, no, no. Our ideology is right. Yeah. What is your ideology? Okay. State involvement should not be there at all. Okay. State should only manage police. Okay. If two entrepreneurs are cheating each other, there should be one judge. That's all. Okay. Ensure contracts are met. Ensure that property titles are properly protected. Ensure there is border security is there. That much only you do government. Everything else don't do. Everything will take care. What will take care? Market will take care. Market forces will take care about whether if anybody is become very greedy. Okay. He's trying to become, he forgot about himself and became very greedy and trying to earn and others, then somebody else will see who is more greedier than this fellow. And he forgot how to, be with the competition and create a new commodity. And then it will lead to destruction of that particular enterprise. So enterprises keep on getting created and keep on wealth gets generated. Leave us the way we are, and because the entire earth, Mother Earth, is only meant for humans. Okay, so we can extract whatever we want, and we can enjoy. So those who want to enjoy more, they'll work hard. Those who are satisfied, they'll be satisfied. Fine. Okay. So now what is the limitation of this philosophy?
You're dependent on a few for your own sustenance.
They are dependent on market forces. If the market forces are not perfect, okay, if market forces are tomorrow controlled by 3 or 4 Ambani and Adani and all, Market force also डूब गया. Correct? Right? Huh? So so-called, the power gets concentrated with few rich people. Okay? Ambanis or Adanis or Rockefellers. Okay? They will create the competition or not, or delete the competition. So market forces also is not, you know, primary thing. Another important issue here which they have not dealt with is that human vices. Hmm? If the human vices are not dealt with, then what will happen? So, then there will be debauchery, there will be vice, there will be, killing of each other, you know. Right now, there is also,
Further tell me the forces are production forces are there is no.
protection forces are supposed to work, they'll not work always because again, protection forces are also controlled by capitalists. Huh? Because nothing is absolute again, right? So then these are the things. So capitalist thing also has a limitation. So one extreme is there is no distinction. Another extreme is there's always distinction. Huh? One extreme is deal with, this is the issue actually. So they don't know what is the middle path. Okay. So then let us study something called as existentialism. Okay. This ideology became more prominent during the Second World War. After the Second World War, there's one, anybody can make me remember this name of the person? I forgot his name. He's a Jewish psychologist. Prabhupada also, in that book, no, Beyond Illusion and Doubt book, Prabhupada talks about that philosophy of that person.
Sigmund Freud.
Not Sigmund Freud is hedonism. Sigmund Freud is hedonism. Okay, so that is another big crazy demon he is. Huh? So I forgot the name of the person. Okay, so that person, I'll tell you how he survived the Holocaust. You know what Germans used to do with the Jewish people? Okay, they will appoint. Okay, they'll identify. Okay, these 15 people, tomorrow, they're going to gas chamber. And these 2 people, they're appointed to remove the bodies. Okay, from the gas chamber. So these 15 people are going. They have no option. When to die, when to live. They have no option. Anytime they can be counted as among the people who will be killed. Okay, so these 15, 20 people now are put into the gas chamber. They are dead. Now the Germans will not touch the bodies of the Jews. The Jews who are there, they are identified, these 2, 3 people, they have to take out the bodies. Day in, day out, you are seeing this as a Jew. And, you don't know when you are going to die. When your existence will be challenged, you don't know. So much of negativity. So much of negativity is there in the mind of the person. Then this psychiatrist, okay, who has studied this whole thing, he came up with an ideology called as Viktor Frankl, correct. Viktor Frankl. Yes, Viktor Frankl. Okay. You should actually study his life, huh? You should study his life and you study what Prabhupada spoke about the mistakes of existentialism. Okay, and you reflect how our ideology is better. You should all, we should develop our acumen, intellectual acumen like that. Okay. So he was always thinking about his wife. He was always thinking about a very egalitarian idea, that a very wonderful idea that he is going to meet his wife later. And he wants to go and meet his wife. He kept on maintaining his positive attitude, okay, that he wished to meet his wife at an appropriate time. In the meanwhile, the Nazis started losing, and the Russians started, overpowering the Germans, right? And then he was able to escape from the that Holocaust. Okay. Then he comes to know that his wife did not survive. His wife also passed away. Okay. So this Viktor Frankl, I mean, I don't want to mock, but that's the reality. He again married.
Don't they meet on a train, Prabhu, later on?
Huh?
Don't they meet on a train later on?
No, they don't meet.
In the movie.
His wife already passes away in the Holocaust. And again he gets married to another this thing, right? So in existentialism, what is the limitation?
Existing only God.
So they think that you exist, boss. That's all. You exist. Okay. Huh? You exist and you deal with all your vices. They also talk about that handling of the vices. Okay. You have to handle the vices by not by ignoring them. You have to handle them vices positively. Okay. But the challenge with the existentialism theory is that you just exist. You don't know what is your past, what is your future, what will happen. So that is again an incorrect ideology. Okay. So we should appreciate all of this. Now we don't have enough time to review all the ideologies and all of those things and that. Okay. And so because again you have to check what is the personal motive which is coming in that particular ideology. What is the issue? Actually, existentialism does not have any proper political stand. How the society at large should be governed, or how the resources of the society should be managed. There's no proper political stand on the existentialism also. Therefore, it was possible for Maharaj Yudhishthira to rule the whole world, including the seas, because the principles were infallible and universally applicable to everyone. So, this is the most important thing. If you see all the ideologies, again you put this context. Is the principle infallible? No, we found it, right? Even within the communistic people, communistic governance, okay, they will look at who are my men, who are my men, who are close to me. Correct. Now, what is Xi Jinping is doing today? Okay, any military leader is becoming more powerful than him, usko hatao. Okay. So it is there also there is one kind of a nepotism is there. They want to always rule the power. They want to be an autocrat. Huh? So hence the principle is not infallible. They want only everybody should get equal wealth opportunities. But when it comes to their own power being threatened, cut off. So hence their principles are not infallible. Somewhere there is limitations of their principles. And are they universally applicable to everyone? No. Whereas this principle is universally applicable for a person who is so poverty stricken like Kolavecha Sridhara. Right? Kolavecha Sridhara had only some hut which is where the water is flowing in if it rains. Okay? Or a great emperor like Maharaj Yudhishthira. The principles will apply. Because these principles are universally applicable to everyone. The conception of one world state can only be fulfilled if you can follow the infallible authority. Okay? The Shastric injunctions are something not an optional one. Okay? So the one world state can only be fulfilled if you can follow the infallible authority. An imperfect human being cannot create an ideology acceptable to everyone. Why Karl Marx has seen that religion is the opium of the masses? Because he's never met a pure devotee. As simple as that. If you imagine Karl Marx when he was creating this theory, At that time, you would have met Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. You wouldn't have created this philosophy only. He was in somewhere else where, Christian Orthodox Church or the Russian Orthodox Church, they're all fighting against each other. They're controlling the rulers. Hmm? He was seeing that religious people are the cause of the poverty to be increased in this world. Yes. Religious people, what they will say? You go to pray to God, God will give. God is giving or what? You have to work hard. And you work hard, you earn money, you distribute everybody. Baba, he has attachment here when he's working hard. Then Karl Marx has forgotten. You see? An imperfect human being cannot create an ideology acceptable to everyone. Only the perfect and infallible can create a program which is applicable at every place and can be followed by all in the world. Please pay attention to all the adjectives and adverbs which are used by Prabhupada. Only, he has used. Only the perfect and infallible can create a program which is applicable at every place and can be followed by all in the world. It is the person who rules and not the impersonal government. What is important? It is the person who rules and not the impersonal government. If the person is perfect, the government is perfect. If the person is a fool, the government is a fool's paradise. If the person is fool, I mean whoever is the head of the country, the government is a fool's paradise. Correct? No, nobody wants to vote Rahul Gandhi. They're afraid what will happen, but they don't have alternative. They don't have alternative. Huh? Huh? So proper statement is right, no? Huh? Huh? That is the law of nature. There are so many stories of, please pay attention here. Huh? I think I should not joke. There are so many stories of imperfect kings or executive heads. Therefore, the executive head must be a trained person like Maharaj Yudhishthira, and he must have the full autocratic power to rule over the world. The conception of a world state can take shape only under the regime of a perfect king like Maharaj Yudhishthira. The world was happy in those days because there were kings like Maharaj Yudhishthira to rule over the world. This is what is about. So the world was happy in those days. So the hedonistic view is that everybody should be happy. The hedonistic view is everybody should be happy. Okay? All this conception of marriage, this, that, nothing is required. Okay? Everybody should be happy. Okay? All this, huh? If these vices are troubling you, huh? Give up these vices. But you have to be happy. It cannot work. Huh? So the world can be happy only if you have a person whose ideology is created by a perfect person. Even our AI cannot create a perfect answer comparison. The comparison which he has created, that also has to be, with all this, I studied 1.7 and then studied 7 with compare and contrast with, these purports and lessons. But that is also a very, very limited thing because it's not a pure one, right? It is again an algorithm based one. Right? So we have to apply our brains, study this.
One ideology.
Huh?
AI comes under one ideology, right? Too many.
Not necessarily, because it has multiple ideologies. Whatever you quote, that ideology, it will change itself. It is nothing but contextualism. That's all.
They come under capitalism.
Huh?
They come under capitalism.
So now what we come under?
We?
What is our ideology?
Mutual company.
Like that.
Correct. Spiritual communism. Further elaborate.
Anarchism.
Hey, Sanskrit में बोल दिया, English में बोलो. What is our ideology? Huh?
Absolute ideal.
What is it?
Everybody has a right to.
Okay, so actually our ideology is nothing but spiritual communism is nothing but Varnashrama Dharma. Okay, so what is that if you have to put it in few English words? I have tried to do that. Okay, I may be again wrong because I'm not perfect person. So what could be the one which is coming closer is spiritually we are all same living entities. But socially, materially, we are unique and different, having different duties, and we are thoroughly against any equalization in terms of material equalization. I felt this way we can conclude in few words. We are against so-called equality in the material sphere. It can never happen. Huh?
That is for the Lord to decide who gets what, and he has already.
He has made his karma, no? That person has done his karma and he is enjoying. Why are you envious of him?
When you started this last paragraph, you mentioned the only perfect and the infallible. When it is infallible, it is automatically perfected by the two words. Only the perfect and infallible can create a program.
I think probably my interpretation would be that perfect would be probably perfect living entities, pure devotees. But even though any perfect, even a pure devotee is a pure devotee, he is not Achyuta. Achyuta is always Lord.
Okay.
Just
Somebody can be perfection in devotion.
Somebody can be a perfect pure devotee.
But
But
it cannot be perfect.
pure devotees are relatively very high infallible. Okay. But if Lord wants to open his curtain of Maya, even Lord Shiva cannot control. Correct? When Lord Shiva, okay, or Markandeya Rishi, when Lord opens his curtain of Maya, nobody can control. Who can be infallible?
AI says perfect implies a state of being complete, flawless, and without defect in form or quality. But infallible refers to incapacity to make mistakes.
Incapacity to do mistakes. Yes. Correct.
To fail or be wrong. Whereas something perfect can be infallible.
That's another way of negative definition which Prabhupada is balancing with the unstatement. Perfect and infallible. Yes. Infallible means what? Ability to be fallible. Infallible means not, there's no way you become infallible. There's no way you can fall.
Whatever they do is perfect. Correct.
Infallible is higher than perfect. More.
So why Prabhupada did not use only the infallible can create a program?
Human beings know.
Maybe in this verse, Prabhupada is talking, in the verse there's Bhishma Deva and Krishna. Maybe Prabhupada want to accommodate both.
It's the Lord and his perfect says the
Pure devotees, servitudes.
And the master.
Yeah.
Combination of both can create a program.
So carefully we should read Prabhupada per person. With so much attention we have to read. Not casually after the whole day work is over, tired. Open Krishna book. कुछ तो पढ़ के सो जाएंगे.
How much time you would have spent on each of these? How much of time he would have spent on this?
Prabhupada has spent a lot of time, in writing this purpose, carefully choosing which word to use. Anybody has any questions? Sorry, we're beyond our time.
In the aspect that you used unwanted population. How to understand that? Unwanted population means they are not actually as per the Krishna's plan. That's why they became unwanted. Generally, we say that everyone has a purpose in life.
Correct. But if they are not understood their purpose, they're not leading with a purposeful life, then they become unwanted. Nobody is by birth unwanted. They become unwanted by their actions. That's it. But because, huh?
Ignorance, they don't know.
Arey, same Dronacharya has taught even Duryodhana and Yudhishthira. Right? Right?
Knowingly not following is one thing. They don't know only. That also comes under anything, right?
Yeah, ignorance of law is no excuse. Right? Ignorance of law is no excuse. It's an unfortunate thing that those who are in ignorance are supposed to be led by enlightened people. But today, unfortunately, blind are leading the blind. Correct? So that's the unfortunate circumstance today.
So Prabhu, one place you mentioned that Krishna, the role of a ruler is to lead those who are interested, taken back the body, and those who are not so spiritually inclined, you let them, without interfering, let them be without them. So that is a live and let live policy, right? So you're going through the motion of live and let live without harming any other diva or anything, but you are still not attached to the.
See, in the live and let live policy, okay, there is no connection between all the living entities. There is only connection between this living entity and the humans only. Right? So, in this way, what happens is, see, the live and let live policy will also work when your karma is perfect. When you are struggling with your 3 meals, 2 square meals, will you allow others to live? You'll snatch. Right? That is one thing. Another limitation of the live and let live policy is the vice of greed. There's nothing enough, right? Where a person was greedy, right? He always want to increase and increase and increase. So he will not allow others to live and let live. So these policies can work only if the overall stratum of the construct of the universe is understood. Right. Hmm? These are all very deep subjects, huh? These have to be studied. Each word has to be examined, each sentence. Because Shaunaka's question you should understand. And Shaunaka's question, Sutta Goswami answers in 5 verses. And then he goes on to the statement that now Krishna is now started living. And all of those things. And all of those things, now we analyze from intellectual point of view, not from emotional point of view. How King Yudhishthira is naturally loving all the citizens. Huh? The concept of love is forgot. We have not analyzed it, right? Because our education system has taught us to only see from one angle. Now we have to broaden our understanding. Now how Yudhishthira Maharaj saw everybody as naturally as parts and parcel of the Lord. So they are all lovable living entities. They are my part. They are my brothers. He didn't think that his own brothers are only brothers. So you bring that context into this. So we can enrich these discussions through various perspectives. Any other last questions? No other questions? We'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Tagore Premanande.